Hello. I'm doing well. I'm excited for today because yeah, no ties. Wait, your tyranny is over, Kangas. It is over.
Responsibility for any of this, okay? I do not take responsibility for the ties, even though I was the one that said specifically that we were all going to wear them live on broadcast. So completely beside the point.
It's okay. We all know the behind the scenes, the real tyrant here in Academy. But anyways, speaking of maybe some tyrants, we got some Champions Queue updates. We have the graphic today. We're gonna go ahead and pop that up on screen. Give us an update on our Academy players within the Champions Queue standings. You see, Cowrie still top of the board, and still all those evil geniuses making sure to enact their evil plans.
Yeah, literally 3 members of Evil Geniuses Academy in the top 5 for just Academy player placement. You can see on the far left where they are compared to everybody else on the Champs queue right now, but that's still pretty impressive when you just look at the microcosm of how Academy players are playing. Outside of that, it's like Team Liquid with 2 members represented in Armeo and Jan, but then just, a 1 member of a couple other teams here and there. The spread's also looking pretty decent. Over 100 between Cowrie and Malice. It's exciting to track that and see who's putting in the work. Of course, you have to decide how much emphasis you actually put onto Champs queue placement, but clearly you can see which pros are actually putting in the time and the grind. So, yeah. Cool stuff right there. And specifically, the cool thing about it that I love, Mazel, is that we actually get comms. And a lot of these pros are streaming their games. And we kind of hinted at this yesterday, that Bussio had this highlight clip he threw up on Twitter. So we thought it'd be awesome to actually show that because we get a little look, not only into Bussio's gameplay, but also some of the comms.
No.
Behind them, I'm keeping behind them.
You did not just do that.
I'm getting ult. I got ult.
No ulti, Kiana, no ulti.
Bussio, you're too fucking good.
Nexus here. Get tenacity as well.
Yep. Maybe we can look top shoes.
I'm coming
Kill my
over.
space.
I
Yeah.
TP, but we're not.
Oh my.
Okay. Yes. Okay.
Okay, Cassia's behind you guys.
Pike
Man,
is on me.
Bussio per
I
man.
think Cassia's in here.
You can.
Oh my god, you're fucking sick.
You'll get his flash. Okay, I'm looking.
Nice.
Get his flash.
Yeah.
Oh, he's got his flash, yeah. Do you know if they healed? I think he just died. What do you think?
Fight's good.
Yeah.
Can
I'll go 2 deep though.
Can you get your feelers?
Yeah. TPing as well. They're TPing, okay?
He has stopwatch.
Careful, Kennen.
So fine.
You can kill Pura.
20. I'm following. Like Raze up here. I feel it's 1 HP over here. Man, those thresh hooks are insane. The double blind one on the Kiana and flashing for it as well. This kid is cracked.
He absolutely is, and he's been, as we were kind of talking about on the stream yesterday, he's just been making splashes in the Academy scene. It's always so nice. Speaking of the A stream though, I got to talk to Joey a little bit yesterday, and it was very interesting. So let's go ahead and
Academy after a 2-0 victory versus 100 Thieves Academy. Honestly, it was a pretty easy day. It kind of just felt like going through the motions. I mean, I think we just had really big leads through draft. They banned 4 supports for some reason, but still gave me Nautilus. So I was kind of surprised at what they were doing with the Kate Lux there. But I mean, I'll take it. It kind of just felt like a free win. So it is what it is. I'm really looking forward to playing versus tomorrow because I'll most likely play versus Shenyi. And I think that I kind of want to see if Shenyi was the problem or not, see the memes, and we'll see from there.
So on top of the IMT reacts portion of the interviewing, I love these pieces from IMT just to get a little bit of mindset from them. But I got to also talk to him in the post game interview, and it's so interesting to hear the mindset and the positivity coming out from Joey, and you just see it on his face too. It's always so nice.
Yeah, that smack talk, banning 4 supports and leaving Nautilus up, a little int right there. So it's fun to hear that pros actually talk about their own gameplay and kind of rib their opponents a little bit. But with that caught up, let's take a look at what happened across the rest of the Rift yesterday, Mazel, because of course there were 5 series played, all best of 2s, but we were not cursed with all ties. We did have 2 separate 2-0s on the A stream.
Yeah, it was not the tie day that you might have wanted, Kangas, but it's okay because EG and Dignitas stay at the 1-1s. It is their destiny. It is their fate.
Of course, of course. I mean, there's so many teams. They're literally Dignitas and EG and Team Liquid all have 7 series that they split
That's
1-1.
insane.
That's
It's
actually
insane.
nuts.
I will say on the Stream A portion, that first series, that was a banger. Like, just being able to see those two teams go at it, and the fact that we also have another hype matchup for CLG today is going to be super nuts. But that yesterday's games, if you didn't watch them, go back and watch the full day of games. It was very fun.
Check them out. But you already hinted it, Mazel, that CLG have a fun opponent up on the Rift today. So we actually put together a little something, me and Rafa, to explain the stakes of what we're about to witness.
Gamers! Tonight, a legendary battle is about to unfold. You're about to witness the top lane super heavyweight Academy Smackdown! In the red corner, the Dom of Dominus, the King K. Rool of top lane, the only one that would beat Steve Irwin in an Outback Wrangle down under, Big Dogs! And in the blue corner, the original Trinimere Savant, a Spartan whose ferocity is unmatched, backdooring your base and your duel with his serenades, Mr. President! With a presidential title on the line, who will win? Find out tonight on Academy Smackdown.
Man, Rafa is just too good at that. I got to give props to him. And also props to the heavyweight smackdown between Dokla and Darshan. Of course, Dokla was saying that he was the only one, or that Darshan was the only top laner that he's really afraid of or even necessarily looking out for in all of Academy. So fun to hype up this matchup.
It absolutely is, and couldn't be a better day for it, the end of week 6. But let's talk about the schedule for the end of week 6. We got some games to go through, Kangas.
Absolutely. Let's take a look at it. First of all, on my stream, twitch.tv/academy. If you have it pulled up, congratulations. If you don't, and you're on the Face It TV stream, pull up both. Make sure you're supporting all. But we got that heavyweight smackdown between Cloud9 and CLG to start off the day. So we start off with a banger. Then Golden Guardians versus Dignitas afterwards. Golden Guardians still chasing that first place position that CLG are currently holding. And closing out the day with a surging FlyQuest Academy. We've been on a tear up against Team Liquid, who are right above them in the standings and have been struggling to pick up wins as of late. So all of the games on Stream A are going to be insane.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking at Team Liquid's macro again today. Make sure they're getting all their check marks in a row there. But on Stream B, we will be over on twitch.tv/FaceItTV. We'll have Immortals Progressive Academy taking on TSM Academy, and then Evil Geniuses taking on 100 Thieves. That one's going to be a fun one.
Yeah, again, Evil Geniuses, one of those teams that we came in with pretty high expectations for. A lot of rookies, a lot of experience kind of mixed between those, and then 100 Thieves, the defending Proving Ground champions. Also, a little lower the standings than we would expect at this point in the season. So, yeah, a lot of fun stuff. But a reminder that if you didn't know what the schedule was until this moment, hey, it's probably because you weren't following a special Twitter account that you should definitely check out right now.
And if you're not, then there's problems. All right, there's problems.
We're gonna have problems. Okay, I want to call Rafa. That guy.
Yeah, don't make us, all right? I'm holding him back. I'm holding him back. He's right there. He's right there. He'll come get you, all right? We'll turn this car over.
Right here, though, Path to LCS, follow that account for all the Academy updates, standings, schedule, as well as amateur updates, because, of course, there is the open qualifier circuit going on over at Unified, and we'll be giving updates through the Twitter account there, as well as on the broadcast on the first day of broadcast for the week. But that being said, Mazel, I believe that's it. We're wrapped up. Did I do it correctly this time?
I think you did. You didn't jump forward into the future. You stayed in the present. I'm proud of you, my friend. Let's do a little bit of roll up, a little bit of D&D-ness. Or do we get nat 20s for the stream today? Do we get all banger games? All right.
Remember, pull up both streams. Twitch.tv/academy.
All right.
Twitch.tv/faceit.
If I roll a 20, oh, okay.
I got a 7.
I got a 13. All right, it's not bad. So you have to pull up both streams because together it equals 20, which means in D&D terms that you have to be there.
I love it.
Make sure that you're there. Pull up both streams, and we'll see you on the Rift.
Hello and welcome back, everybody, as we're preparing for our first series of the day, the super heavyweight top lane smackdown, Rafa, as you rightfully called it, between CLGA Academy and Cloud9. Again, I'm your host, Genghis. I'm joined by Cubby and Rafa, of course. Cubby, I'm sorry, but you're already overshadowed by Rafa's performance in the opening video.
You know what?
So, Rafa,
I'm cool with that. It is. That was pretty amazing. That was my first time seeing that, like, on broadcast. There was like a one-day turnaround, and just seeing Rafa with like the sunglasses.
Not even a one-day turnaround, like a 12-hour turnaround.
All right, well,
overnight.
Yeah, overnight.
Kangas and I were just like, "Hey, let's do this." Oh, I can't record. It's too late. We'll do it first thing in the morning.
And shout outs to us, Rafa, because Kelsey did not believe we could actually get that turned around in time. So production did believe in us.
High five,
but we
guys.
got it done. But now let's talk about the teams. Let's talk about what we'll see on the Rift today, because Cloud9 Academy are up first right now against CLG. CLG, I want you to talk to me about them, Cubby, because this is the team that is #1 in the standings right now, and they are still looking pretty hot. Oh, and it looks like Cloud9's up first.
Hey,
So,
you know what?
We'll
talk about C9, because this team, ever since Malice joined, they have been 12-4, and that includes the disastrous opening series they had against Golden Guardians Academy, when Malice was like one day jet lagged, all that stuff he was talking about in the interview.
What a red carpet to receive on your first day.
Yeah, exactly. And since then, they are 12-2. They've been dominant in Academy. I know from talking with some of the players on C9, they really believe a part of that is their read on the meta, their draft, but I think it's how they've been able to play as a team and really build a strategy around Malice and the way that he likes to play.
Yeah, and again, a reminder that when the first week happened, there was so much flame thrown at this team. There's a lot of eyes on the organization, but they've turned it around, and now third place in the standings, only 2 games behind CLG, 1 game behind Golden Guardians. Now, in Academy, we're more about the players and less about the team placement, but still impressive to see. Let's talk about their opposition, though. Ralph, I'm going to give this one to you here. Intro me to CLG Academy. Sell me on our first place team right
CLG
now.
Academy have committed to a very strong and comfortable play style, and that's play through the top side, baby. You got Dokla, who is leading the league in gold differential as top laners and solo kills as well. I mean, there's a reason why we have highlighted this top lane as the featured matchup going into today's series.
And CLG overall, their story has been one of dominant early, but lately they've been dropping a lot of games now, 3-3 overall. So hoping that they can turn that around. Cloud9 are tough opponents to do it, and maybe they just continue that moving forward. But now let's start talking about that matchup that we teased, the top lane heavyweight matchup. I already said it in the pre-show, but I want to hear from Dokla himself about which top laner he actually is looking forward to facing.
You're looking pretty strong there.
Yeah, I mean, it's not that strong, but honestly, the biggest competition in Academy would be Darshan for now. It's like C9 looks like they're on a roll, but everyone else is looking like whatever. And yeah.
And again, it's from Dokla's own mouth that he's looking forward to Darshan. Now let's think about it from Darshan's perspective, Cubby. How's he been looking so far in this season?
Well, first off, before this game, had to get words from each heavyweight we have coming to this top lane matchup. I asked Darshan, Dokla's an opponent you're familiar with, I've gone up against before, and he's like, yeah, I'm excited. I think Dokla is one of the strongest top laners that we have in the league. Always look forward to going toe-to-toe with him. But I think that Darshan this season has been doing it in a little bit of a different style. Dokla's been that big carry. He's been playing the carries. Whereas Darshan, yeah, we know he can play the Tryndamere. We've seen him play the Akshan as well. But his tank play has been phenomenal as always and has been a big neutralizing factor, not only against enemy top laners, but enemy teams as time goes on. So I think that makes this matchup even more curious for me. And just trying to see if Darshan elects to go for the carry style and the Dokla tries to beat him that way, or if he tries to play something like the Scion that's still undefeated this split for Darshan, be that neutralizer and make sure that his team can do the work as the game goes on, because we've seen what King and Copy can do.
I'm just going to say, even his tanks look like assassins. That's just how much of a Chad Darshan is playing. If you saw his Gragas gameplay from last week and how he was just dancing and swagging outside of Dignitas's base and then casually just solo kills the person in front of 3 people, I mean, dude, like Darshan has so much experience that he understands a lot of how the game is played out. And even though Dokla is now finding a recent surge, probably his best peak we've seen in his entire career, and Dokla is riding that and proving why he's one of the best players right now in the split, Darshan is quick to answer and say, listen, dude, like, I've seen that peak. I've been on that peak, and I'm still cruising as one of the best right now.
It's the thing that gives this matchup so much weight to me is that it is the current best performing top laner in Academy against one of the top laners. Actually, I'd say hands down the top laner with the most experience in all of their professional play. They've played with multiple different rosters, multiple different teams against so many different other top laners, domestically as well as internationally. Darshan has that experience. He has all of this knowledge he can pull from in this matchup, and Dokla has the heat behind him, right? He's got the momentum rolling forward. He's the younger guy coming into challenge. You looked at that gold differential, Cubby. How many teams have a gold differential as big as Dokla's individual lane lead?
The only one that's bigger is CLG still.
0. It's absolutely insane. So those are the stakes, everybody. That is the lane that we'll be watching going forward with most intrigue. But, of course, it'll come down to the whole team versus the whole team for both of these ones. And with that said, we're ready for pick and ban. So I'm going to pass it over to Rafa to get us underway for game number 1.
Well, this is me taking the pass, Kangas, so I accept with, very, very thankful thoughts and graciousness here. Kangas has been leading us up to, Cubby, a top lane Academy smackdown. But there's a couple of other supporting characters that we cannot stray away from, as while Darshan and Dokla might be battling out into the death in this top lane 1v1, depending on what champions we get, we also have to look at a couple other characters. I know Mouse is a big one for Cloud9, but Rosethorn also having a surge of performance in this split so far as well.
It's been a real renaissance for Rosethorn, as he was just an average jungler that we had last year. He was spectator at best, and he's really emerged as someone that has these great early game plans. And I'm really curious to see these two teams clash, because the last time we saw them clash, it was week 1, day 1. C9 had the sub squad in. And I think that the way that C9 plays, a lot of full clearing junglers and trying to ramp jungle into the later stages of the game, that's counter to how CLG likes to play, which is the 3-wave ganks, 3-wave plans from Rosethorn. He loves to get out onto the map, get active early. So I think it's two of the top teams that we have, but also a clash of styles. That's what makes me really excited for this matchup. It's not only a heavyweight smackdown between our top laners, but between these two teams as well.
We have to catch up back with the draft now, because so much has just been locked in the first 30 seconds. In fact, no one took their time. Everyone already knew what they wanted within the first round, and we're already into the second round of bans.
So this is 12.4 for anyone watching at home. We are seeing more Zeri that through. Rafa, we saw that yesterday in the matchup where it was FlyQuest versus Golden Guardians. FlyQuest got Zeri both games. Went 1-1 with it. We saw Golden Guardians put together a composition where it was a lot of single target burst damage and a lot of emphasis on playing through side lanes. So I want to see if CLG can somewhat emulate that, as we have seen that be the best strategy into Zeri. Just trying to lock her down, not allow a lot of her mobility. And we're seeing some of the bans from C9 prevent that. The Twisted Fate, point and click stun, that's taken off the board, as Triple played that yesterday. Would not be surprised we see an Ahri taken away too, as CLG targeting Copies champion pool a bit, taken away to the Orianna. But overall, it looks like C9, they have this Hecarim Yuumi, they have a Zeri. If things go late, it's going to be tough, especially for this Jinx to play. So Rosethorn with that full to bear, if you can get on the map early and break the plan, that looks to be what CLG is going for. It's how they've played, how they've been at the top of the standings so far.
When you have a jungler like Malice, who will be taking a lot of resources in the beginning and being a strong mid-game carry coming out of the jungle, you have a Yuumi now that really empowers a variety of the junglers that Malice is already accustomed to playing. CLG, once again, saving their counter pick for Dokla until the very end with this blind pick Ahri.
And with the Corki, this is interesting to me, because, I mean, this is C9 just saying, we are going full late game. This is all about the later stages. The Sion, too. Sion pick, Darshan Sion, it's 5-0, and I really like this, because not only is it a blind pick that's going to be okay in the top lane. Yes, there are matchups that win, but it's never going to truly be dire. But Jinx, Ahri, Voldabear, that's a pretty low damage composition into Sion, who's going to be that stat check. I think CLG sees that. They played this matchup yesterday. Dokla's running it back.
Oh, man. The debut of CLG Dokla's Vayne happened yesterday on the mainstream, and he's running it back into Darshan now. The only other top laner in Academy we have seen pull out Vayne top was Viper, but now Dokla is making a run for it this week.
And I like the Vayne pick. When you look at the composition C9 has, Vayne does very well into everything that's showing for C9. So if CLG is able to attack that top lane, is able to get Dokla ahead, I think this is the way that they can try and break this humongous late game composition that C9 has displaying on their blue side, because if things go late, you have the Corki poke, you have the Hecarim engage, and his stat check. It's going to be all about Rosethorn triple, getting out of that mid lane, trying to impact these sides, and trying to take C9 down that way. And I think it's interesting because a part of C9's success ever since Malice hopped in, keep in mind, 12-2, since they got this full roster with Malice, minus that first tragedy against Golden Guardians. C9's done it by having their solo lanes play well around Malice. They've been pushing out lanes at the right time. They've been going to support Malice in some of the invades. And this is a game plan where CLG, they're saying, we want to break that side lane. We want to break top lane. If they're going to be able to be successful against C9, they have to be able to execute that game plan in this one.
This is a lot of scaling components on the side of Cloud9, but they have been one of the few teams that have been able to demonstrate how to minimize the amount of sacrifices and advantages that opponents are able to get against them without having as much agency within the first few minutes of the game. CLG, you already said it before, you are looking at Triple and Rosethorn to be the two main people that break open the map and help Dokla get the snowball, get the advantage on this Vayne.
And we'll have to see if CLG can pull off that game plan, as they are cruising out on the map, grouped up as 5. Curious to see them go for this late invade. Rosethorn can start with the Q flash if he wants, but looks like they might be looking to see if King and Isles might have checked this brush later. Not going to be the case. No action level 1, Rafa. We can take a bit of a deep breath before... I feel like all eyes on CLG early. I think it all has to be on Rosethorn and Triple, utilizing the power of Volibear in these first 2 clears. Can they make something happen?
Right now, Cloud9 being very defensive in the bottom side of the map, suspecting that there could have been an invade from CLG. Since CLG never went for it, Cloud9 will be safe in their defense as Darshan will resume post back towards the top side of the map. Darshan is staying a little extra while. I wonder what they're actually doing in store. Is he going to be leashing this Raptor camp over or just staying a little bit extra longer?
He should be able to get to lane in time, and we are going to see both junglers start on their respective red buffs. Do you want to talk a little bit about Volibear's clear? I think that Rosethorn has a couple options. So one of the good parts about Volibear early is that you can somewhat keep up with the clear of Hecarim. You can complete 5 camps in the time that he does 6. You have a couple options on Volibear. One is the 3 camp, one side of your map, and then trade flash for flash mid. Very common path we see. That's not going to be the case for Rosethorn, as he is going for those Raptors second. So it looks like Rosethorn just trying to make his way through bot. If Breezy and Prismal can make this lane volatile, never mind. We have a switch coming up. Rosethorn sticking on the top side. This tells me they're going for a 3-wave dive.
Absolutely. He's going to be level 3, and you already see Dokla building up this wave slowly. Darshan slightly late to it, not being able to get as much lane priorities as possible. Dokla on this vein doesn't have the best wave clear, but he is trimming this wave shortly, and by the time this wave will make its crash, it should sync up with how Rosethorn gets to that side of the map.
I think that he's actually going to attack Malice, because at this point, you want the wave to crash, like stack it up with the cannon. That's not going to happen in time. So now Rosethorn, he's going to try and get up in the face of this Hecarim. He's going to wrap around against Malice. Wondering if he can pick him off.
Oh, and he knows that Malice will attempt to take both the Grump and the blue buff at the same time. It's going to be a lot of damage, and now Malice is going to be in a bad spot here. The blue buff will have to reset. Malice forced away, still trying to keep aggro on this Grump and be deterred as much as possible.
Could have a smite fight. Malice should be able to burst this out, as he does take the Grump for himself. And overall, Rosethorn will win this trade, will force Malice out of the jungle. I like how Rosethorn is playing towards his winning side lane. I think this is something that CLG specifically has done very well in their games. He's Triple utilizing the push he has just to hover. This blue buff will go over to Rosethorn early. CLG denies the bot crab, so a little bit of an attempt from Rosethorn to get Malice behind, mess with his clear a bit, able to pull this off successfully.
Now, Rosethorn just has to beeline back towards the bottom side of the map after this crab, which he'll be able to do so. That river vision that Prismal and Breezy netted for him through the crab gives him that extra bit of safety to farm out the bottom side of the map. And now Malice realistically has nowhere that he can go while he waits for his camps to respawn, except maybe looking for top lane.
And you can see Malice, he's wrapping all the way around. He knows that Rosethorn is going to be on the bot side. He can use this to sneak in. Might go for the Raptor respawn. I think he's going for the Krug respawn. Thinking that Rosethorn went red Krugs into Raptors, but Rosethorn flipped that clear. With that being gone, we'll have to see if he actually tries to go for a gank onto Dokla, because that is the only option he has left. As
he's just playing a waiting game right now.
Yeah.
I mean, now he realizes that the Raptors have spawned, and so he'll be able to take the second Raptor on respawn, which, thanks to catch-up XP, will give him a little bit more experience on the back end of it. Rosethorn will encounter him, though, after these Wolves. I don't know if Rosethorn will hit level 5 after this quite yet, still be level 4, but he can potentially compete with him.
Oh, so if Rosethorn doesn't check this, they might be able to guess that he's on Krugs. You can see Triple, he's out of the lane. They're looking for Malice. They have question mark pings going down on the Krugs. Rosethorn's going to see if Malice is here. Malice is in trouble. He might even have to execute.
Oh, Triple and Dokla are organizing a dive against Darshan. Condemn comes out, but it might not be enough damage. It just barely is. First blood goes over to Dokla, but Malice is on the flank. Rosethorn's not going to be able to quite make it. He would have to flash to get in range, but Malice finds the devastating charge onto Triple, separating him from the rest of his comrades, but Dokla cleans one back in response.
A trade of kills. Importantly, Dokla gets both of them. So this Vayne that we said could break the composition.
Darshan?
Getting big, Darshan.
A Rose Thorn going forward onto Coffee, forcing him in the flash. Everyone's
Coffee at
flashing in the
6.
top lane. This is all out.
Doko's no mana.
The smackdown. Darshan walks in range, is able to get the slow. Darshan cleans it up with a double.
And the stat check on the Scion, the fact that Copy hit 6, TP'd immediately. The entire early game plan for CLG thrown to the side as we get a second look at this one. It's a good setup from Dokla and Triple. I think the big difference is the fact that Copy just goes untouched. Triple, Dokla so low, and Dokla out of mana in this fight, could not keep on buying space away from the Scion to escape the last Q. When he falls, everything goes to the wayside, and C9 managed to salvage that play in the end, managed to prevent CLG from getting a huge winning play in the lane that they want to get ahead in. And C9 neutralized the early game plan from CLG, but as we go back to live, Darshan's actually hovering bot. They know the triple could be here.
Oh, man,
what a read.
Look at that triple. Cannot go in for the dive, forcing the flash out of Breezy. Darshan just making sure that he can get presence around the entire map.
That's just a beautiful read from Darshan. He knows that he is going to struggle to approach that top wave. Also can visualize that his bot lane is going to be under siege. So him showing up on the Scion, once again, you don't care if you get behind too many CS on the Scion. XP is the thing that's really important. Saving your bot lane far more important than your resources. And Malice now, he's going to pick this up in the top lane.
I mean, he also has Copy here just in case if he needs extra damage. The Condemn comes out, and there is Copy with the reinsurance to make sure that Dokla gets taken down.
The active early map just feels like C9. They're the ones with the better reads on what's going on, Rafa.
And this is a huge, well, maybe not huge, but this is a really cool just adaptation from Cloud9. A lot of the memes come around that say, okay, Cloud9 is super passive. They want Malice to farm forever until he gets strong. But Cloud9 showing that they are willing to make plans and change when the team against them is forcing their hand. They're not going to be passengers in this game. They're going to be the ones that say, okay, what is the best next plan that we can do when our original plan is not working out? Darshan understands, you know what, I need to put pressure on the bottom side of the map because they're going to attack it. Malice then gets to soak up that entire top wave. Copy, knowing that Triple went for the reset on the bottom side of the map, looking for the dive, has time to push out his wave and reacts to the top lane play and picks up Dokla, decelerating him once again.
And if that Vayne gets behind, if she gets taken out of the game, she is useless compared to the Scion. She needs to be ahead and attacking the side lane for Vayne to be able to do something in this game. So the fact that C9 has already taken Dokla down twice, I think very important for breaking the plan of CLG. As we did say, CLG, their composition, they do get outscaled as this game goes on. And you can see CLG still trying to push the tempo, still trying to utilize that mid-priority. Like how they're immediately going to the Rift Herald after the Dragon. This is the more important objective of the two. And with that top lane priority, that slow push bouncing back from Dokla, should be able to secure this one safely.
In the end, CLG are able to net both of the first primary objectives, but given how CLG's plan of attack was scripted out against Cloud9 and their read against it, this could have been a worse deficit that Cloud9 is experiencing. The fact that they're still even at this point in the game is remarkable.
And even as ahead for C9's comp, their reads, they've really saved their bot lane. They've managed to put the Vayne behind. I think those are the two big boxes that you want to check when you have something like a Zerayumi, when you have something like a Scion going into Vayne. And as time goes on, keep in mind, Vayne's the only one that's going to be doing serious damage to that Scion. Prismal's forced to go LDR second. That will help, but Scion's such a stat check, such a huge, terrifying ball to deal with. It's going to be tough for the side of CLG as Ahri and Jinx just don't pack that percent max health damage, aren't able to shred armor or MR. Darshan's going to be a big problem in this game, no matter how much CS he's sitting at.
That's a nice thing about being a big meat shield as a tank. You have to walk in front and soak up a lot of damage, and Dokla, no flash available. It's able to tumble away from the unstoppable onslaught, but can you dodge this one? The rampage and the stampede from Malice, and Copy once again makes an appearance on the top side of the map to aid.
And C9, they sync this up with the transfer of blue buffs. Rosethorn's giving his blue to Triple. That's another read where C9, they know that that play is going to be undeterred by the side of CLG. They take down Vayne yet again, and things keep on getting worse and worse for CLG on the map. And if this Vayne isn't ahead, we are going to see Scion just go wherever he wants, not be able to die. And not even just the Scion, the Hecarim too, for Malice.
we're not going to even see that much split push pressure out of this Vayne, unlike some of the other champions that could have been picked here. It doesn't seem like it's in best interest to build a hole breaker anytime soon on the Vayne or anything. So the amount of influence and pressure that Dokla can put while being this far behind is a huge deterrent to what CLG want to do in this game. And it's all props to Cloud9 just making great adaptations.
You have to pause as Rosethorn was seeing if Malice was crossing over to his Raptors with triple. He's not able to find the kill there, as Malice going to clean up the Kruggos and get a little bit of a breather before we have this second dragon spawning. It is the Ocean Dragon on the Rift for this one, as triple. Some nice poke connecting from the Ahri. I think this dragon, if you're CLG at this point, I think you have to take any fight that you can. Things don't get better as time goes on. I think that forcing these objectives really hard is the key for them. And C9, if I'm in C9 shoes, who cares about the second dragon? You can pick up the later ones. You scale into the game. Team fights are better for you the later you go on. Just keep on shutting down this Vayne. And as long as CLG doesn't break that pattern, I think this game is really tough for them to come back from.
There's still a Rift Herald available for CLG. You see that they're putting pressure in the mid lane, recognizing that, you know what, we still need to make triple active on the map, unlock him from the chains of mid lane. This Rift Herald should do enough damage to break open the map here for CLG.
And that is one potential positive for the side of CLG, is that they do win both side lane matchups. I really like Ahri into Corki. I think that's something that CLG is going to try and get now that mid tower is broken. They have the option to shift their bot lane mid. It won't happen until after this dragon, though. And taking that mid lane, we did see Triple with a little bit of a later reset. He does have the TP, but he's electing to walk out of the base. I think that COG still really want to hit this dragon hard, and that's going to be made difficult by the fact that Copy, I think, intelligently held his package until the second dragon spawn, and now threatening with his package. They have prio on both sides. They're answering the play that COG just made from that mid-outer. So COG lose this dragon, and that's C9 buying another 5 minutes of scaling for them. So I think C9, even though they lost that mid-outer, this is still a good trade for them, given all the scaling they have. And now Breezy, he's too far up. He's dead.
Even with Flash, he's not getting out of this one. You see Malice proactively engaging far in front of him, cutting off his escape route. Another pickup for Cloud9.
Oh, Triple trying to answer.
Oh, this could be a nice pick. Copy still has Flash. Triple has Flash to answer as well. Malice is here for reinforcements. Triple will not follow. Just making sure. Oh, Super Mega Death Rocket. Oh, just barely goes wide. But Rosethorn flashes and commits to take down Copy. Now in a 1v1 against Malice. No Onslaught of Shadows available. Rosethorn still has his available. He might try to use that pressure to push him off, but he's not going to stay.
Yeah, has to respect the top lane, or I should say the mid lane. Meanwhile, top lane. Darshan, you can see he has a first item Frozen Heart, Rafa. So trying to get the least amount of Silver Bolt procs possible.
Ooh.
Okay.
I can respect that Rosethorn was waiting for Triple to get wave priority in the mid lane before re-engaging and picking up Malice. King in the Niles, attempting to respawn and salvage whatever camps that they can away from Rosethorn. And he's being a thief right now.
There we go.
We were waiting.
Over the wall.
We were waiting for it. It's like, are you gonna ulti over the wall, or are you gonna get eaten? Oh, whoa, Toklin. Darshan extremely low right now. Darshan popping the ghost, looking for Dokla, but he still has flash. Oh, the slow lands. Dokla might have to flash this as soon as the decimating smash comes out. There it is. Dokla gets out.
You can see how difficult that top lane matchup is. The Frozen Heart preventing all the Silver Bolt true damage, at least as much as possible for Darshan. And the fact he's going even means that he is incredibly far ahead in that lane with how that's supposed to go inside. And I will say, CLG, by picking off Malice in the jungle, that is a shutdown. They were able to pick up the bot outer. Breezy might have to flash. Okay, so Breezy does have to get out, but CLG, they at least were able to get a little bit more gold in their pockets before plates fell. I think that's very important for them, as we have put a huge emphasis on their early game. They need to keep on running. Oh, Copy. He gets first strike gold, too. That's just a real slap in the face.
Even though Copy wasn't able to save his jungler from dying in the red buff of their own quadrant, at least he equalizes and avenges partly by sniping the red buff away from CLG.
Gotta take a deep breath here, Rafa. There's been a lot of action, a lot to explain in this early game. And I think that now because that mid outer was broken, we are seeing the swap of lane states. So bot lanes are now mid laners now bot. I think this is good for CLG. Getting copy in the long lane is Corki. That is a place that they can attack, but CLG at least able to still get push in the lane that Doke was in. Should be able to pick up this Rift Herald, but Malice is in the area. Might be trying to look for a fight in the post play. Darshan, here we go.
No Yuumi ulti available. Darshan has his, though. Onslaught of Shadows. AoE Fear onto multiple members of CLG, but they have to kite backwards. Copy's now here, but no package available. So how much team fight power do they really have? And CLG are able to kite this one out. Rosethorn extremely low, but a great devour from Breezy will keep him alive. Dokla is getting an onslaughted by Malice, but it's just not enough damage. Dokla's kiting this one out. Triples in the backline. He finds the carries for Cloud9, and he still gets out. King might be able to escape this one, but we can't say the same about the other three.
That was a beautiful team fight from CLG. We keep on saying they're getting outscaled. They need to push the pace. I think that's a fight they needed. They won, and a lot of it is thanks to Triple. His charm canceled Darshan's Q, also got him the reset, and he cleaned up the back half of that fight for CLG. As we take a second look, it's a good group from C9. They feel like they can take this because they have numbers, but look at how CLG is able to retreat as a team, play this in the back half, and watch Triple. He hit that charm on Darshan. Now he's going to go kite into this, hits a huge Q, and once Triple sees the angle, once Darshan runs out, boom, he goes in, big Everfrost, gets on both Copy and King. The angle to make sure that that Q hits both of the carries of C9 as well. Triple's Ahri, man, it's been so good. It's 4-1. It's his most played since he came over late. And we're seeing signs of why CLG has priority on that pick here.
Even in his interview, he was surprised when we told him that, dude, this is actually your debut of Ahri. And he's like, what? I've been playing this champion in scrims ever since I started playing pro. I'm surprised we actually just never brought it out on stage. But we verified it, and Triple has now made it his mission to say, I am the best Ahri player on the server.
He's sitting at 2-1-4. CLG can still attack sides with Triple if they want to, but right now we see C9 actually grouping up, and Triple.
Oh, Darshan gets locked up. Multiple stuns and chain lockdowns. Malice looking for a re-engage here with the devastating charge, but it times out. Triple making a great effort to body block, but Copy now with the package. This could be the impact changer right here as they are readying up for this dragon. CLG have to take caution when poised around the pit. A well-timed package from Copy can split up the fight. Huge charm. Not enough damage to deter Copy from holding and using the package. Still looking for the angle.
And we're going to have to look at Malice and Copy. Are they able to split the fight? And CLG, they respect the power of the package. I want to see Copy use this right when the dragon goes down, just to make sure he has it for the next time. This is what we've seen Corki do since it's a 5-minute timer. You burn that right before dragon goes down. You can base, pick up the package, TP back to have it for the next one. But CLG, they don't want that fight. They see the package, they say, no way, we aren't fighting that. So we're going to go mid, drop Herald, take the outer, or the inner, I should say, maybe push for this to crash into the inhibitor turret, which they should be able to get.
It won't take the inhibitor turret down, but we'll get a lot of damage out, making CLG's next siege much more successful. Should be able to lead to an inhibitor if the next fight is great.
And CLG, they're sticking with this power play. They see Copy in the bot lane. They know Copy doesn't have TP. So they've grouped up as 5. They're looking for this top inner, and they should be able to take it. And this is a good adaptation from CLG as a team. We've seen them beat a lot of teams in Academy by playing out 3 lanes, playing this 1-3-1. And they have this draft where they can do that with the Vayne and the Ahri. But seeing them group up, have first say on the map by seeding the dragon, then taking just 2 turrets, getting more gold in their pockets, I think is a really intelligent play coming out from CLG, and one that's keeping them in this game, as it was a good early game from C9 to keep things even. That's them batting way above their average, right? But I think CLG, this mid-game bounce back's been even better from them.
And it's just a good read from CLG, understanding that by the time they lost the second dragon, they can no longer put Cloud9 on the timer they normally would have had they secured every single dragon that has spawned up to date. We normally expect that of a soul to be coming online in the next 4 or 5 minutes, but because that clock is no longer available for CLG, they react by saying, you know what, we're not going to put pressure through dragon, we're going to put pressure on the map and take down structures instead.
Speaking of the map, we do have Baron spawning. CLG, good news for them. Their Baron timer is filthy. They have Kraken Slayer on both Jinx and Vayne. And here it comes. Prismal, he's just calling it 20 minutes. They melt this objective. They're even committing a TP. They see Darshan bot with no TP. This Baron's down. It's all CLG.
Between double marksman and the percent health damage to Rosethorn, they are just pressuring Cloud9, forcing them to react. And now Triple trying to find a pick, but a lot of damage from Malice. Goes back in with the onslaught of shadows. Jungler's gone from Cloud9. King looking for the flank onto the right side, but is only hitting Breezy. That's just the front line, and Dokla is running down Copy on the backside. The rest of Cloud9 have to respond. Dokla might have tuned in a little too far. Triple, you gotta be able to help this one out. Flashing forward, exhaust comes out, Triple goes down. Cloud9 still fighting with the rest of King and Isles and Darshan. One front line, one marksman, one enchanter is all that it needs. Prismal needs the Rosethorn, but Rosethorn has been split up, and Cloud9 will push CLG out of their jungle.
And I'm surprised CLG pulled off from the Baron. Yes, they got Malice, but Dokla overextending just a tad on the backside. That cost CLG the fight. The Vayne goes down. They have no damage to get through the Scion. And just like that, this game yet again flips on its head. C9 is now the one that has people alive to take this Baron. I don't think Prismal can stop it.
No Super Mega Death Rocket available either. He's looking for vision, trying to find places where he can safely approach. There's portals coming in thanks to it being a Hextech map. Breezy and Dokla are on the table, but neither of them have Smite. So it would have to be a combined effort of skill shots from over the wall. Zap, would it be available? No. Malice is quick on the Smite, and Cloud9 will be able to get out.
Triple has all. They don't have the numbers. Rosethorn can't be there, so COG, they have to see it. And that aggressive 20-minute Baron call, it comes back to bite him in the end. I would love to take a second look at that fight if we can. Oh, thank you, observers. We got a replay. So they get Malice right away, but Malice was able to get a lot of health out of Triple, and from here, the fight gets split. CLG is on two fronts. Dokla is trying to chase down Copy, and once Copy lives, I love how C9, they regroup, they blow up with the Scion. Copy is saved. Dokla is taken down. Triple tries to finish him off, but he gets traded out. And now COG, they don't have the damage. Prismal can't get through the Scion Yuumi, so King just gets to rip through the rest of this fight. And just a bit of an overextension from CLG is all that C9 needs to take this fight for themselves.
CLG, it's been back-to-back decisions, trying to kind of raise the stakes and pushing their chips even further into the pot. Cloud9 just forcing another fight right here in the mid lane as they look for the dive. Rosethorn forced to use his ultimate as a retreat measure. CLG now, they are the ones that are being pressured by Cloud9.
And this is the struggle of CLG, because we said that, you know, they have a comp where they want to play sides. They want to get Dokla splitting with this Vayne. C9 is just grouping up as 5. CLG has no way to deal with this. I think we're now at the point of the game where Ahri's damage is starting to fall off. Jinx, no LDR yet for Prismal, so he can't get through this Scion. And we're seeing C9 take advantage of this window and hit it hard, just grouping up as 5, using the Yuumi heals and using the Corki Poke to make sure these objectives fall in their favor.
The price of high execution comes at a cost when the execution falls just a little below the mark here for CLG. And Cloud9, they are taking every single action that CLG are putting on the map, finding the best response that they can. Sometimes CLG are able to pull ahead, but this, in the last few moves, Cloud9 have been able to successfully push CLG back.
Nice.
Pushing Triple away from the safety of this tower, this structure will fall.
Really like Darshan and King there, just syncing up and make sure they get an ultimate out of Triple. Something small, but something that's really important in pro play. It's going to enable C9 to push for this inner as Darshan's going really deep. They see Vayne top.
Okay, Breezy goes down. No Devour available to save a carry if the fight goes bad for CLG. Darshan still being the one-man front line alongside Malice and Yuumi, keeping their health topped. And the inhibitor will fall for Cloud9. They get to take a moment to reset.
And I just love C9. They saw Dokla pushing that top lane. You can see it's by C9's turret. They're about to pick it up. Once they see Dokla, Darshan just presses R. He goes in the back line. He doesn't care. He's Scion. He can't die. It's a 5v4, and the one person that can even threaten to take Darshan down isn't in the fight. So I think C9, just having that proactivity, the ability to recognize that, you know, we can't die. We just get to go in and push for something like an inhibitor as quick as they are. Something where, talking with Darshan, he feels like they're one of the top teams in Academy because of their read on the meta and the way that they play as a team. And that's a good example of them utilizing that on the map right there.
When we go back to what we were highlighting in the pre-show, the Academy Smackdown, it was about Dokla being someone who was trying to smash every single lane, boasting the most solo kills in the league, versus someone like Darshan, who can also find solo kills and find solid gold differentials, but the experience and the wisdom that he has gained over the years knows he has put himself in a place where he recognizes that it's more important for him to be a team player, to be the person that soaks up the damage, to be the front line in this case. And while it was a blind pick and it was hard to pick anything that aggressive that early on into the draft, Darshan is making it pay for it tenfold and how much of a front line he is able to be for this team.
And now, look at the consequences of that. One big one puts Prismal at half health from Copy. And C9 just continue to stack as 5. Now Dokla, he is forced to group. And it's double Frozen Hearts that he's staring down. So it's really tough for Dokla to make sure he continues to proc these Silver Bolts. And C9 are just turning into the Siege comp. They have Yuumi to top him off. They get the poke from Copy. And CLG have no way to find an angle and don't have the damage to break the front line from C9.
Cloud9 just biding their time, waiting for the next wave. Another structure falls in their favor. Dokla potentially on the flank, but I don't know how much you want to flank as a Vayne, as Darshan will just be a subtle bodyguard with the movement speed. He just engages freely onto Dokla. A flash away is not going to keep King off his back. Dokla's trying to do his best to cut this one out. The exhaust, but CLG, they found out Malice, and now they find Compy as well. CLG might have been able to turn this one around, even thanks to the sacrifice of Dokla attracting the rest of Cloud9. They split him up. It's a triple for triple.
And I think C9, King went to chase Dokla. Once he left the fight, CLG had a numbers advantage, as it was 3v1 against the Vayne, which means that it's a 4v2 for the rest of the map for CLG. And you can't make a mistake against that like our top team in Academy. As we take a second look, it's a good find from Darshan with the Yuumi, but I think once King commits, it opens up Malice and Copy to just be free-range hunting for the rest of CLG.
Dokla was not the only person on the flank either that we didn't get a chance to mention. Rosethorn also lingering around. And Dokla, I imagine, I don't know how much of it was planned or how much CLG were able to react, just saying, look, Dokla's bait. He's attracted the front line and one of the main carries. Now Malice and Copy are split up. Get him, boys! And CLG just run him down.
Darshan, you can't tag in that many people to take down Dokla. I know that, like, he wanted the honorable one-on-one. I think as the game goes on, you got to tag in some friends, you know. Just one too many. As I think once King left, really good recognition from CLG. They have a lot of mobility with their composition, and it is a reset comp for both Ahri and Jinx. So once they get that first kill, that is the chance that CLG has to get back into the game. That's important. Prismal now has LDR. Going to really help getting through this front line of Darshan and Malice. But C9, it is Hextech soul point for them, as if they receive this soul, that's got to be the end of the game. And CLG are staring down a double smite. Darshan has smite for this objective as well.
And Copy has package as well. So how do you approach as CLG?
Baron.
Oh, Hail Mary time, baby! This is what they did against Immortals when they had their backs against the wall, when Immortals had a soul point as well. And CLG said, you know what?
They do this in time. They melt
We'll
this.
just do Baron instead.
They melt it.
4,000 HP, 2,000. They're
Darshan's
burning it down.
coming.
Mouse cannot get there in time. Baron has been secured.
Ooh.
But a huge knockup for Darshan. Copy is just that damn easy to fall off the package. Cloud9 wipe counter Logic Gaming off the map.
Darshan lays the smackdown on all of CLG with that ultimate as choo-choo, I'm coming down the river. Now C9's coming for the base. C9 end up taking game one. Some good team play from them in a back-and-forth bout, Rafa. I think C9's comp, yeah, it outscaled, but I really liked how they played as 5 in this mid-game.
You don't gotta be a carry champion to be a carry in the SmackDown, Cubby. Darshan showing it how it is done. Cloud9 take game one from CLG.
And for CLG, going back to the drawing board, okay, it's going to bully. All right. I thought they were going to pad the KDA a little bit. They saw Breezy be the Tom Kench, be a little bit too tanky, but man, C9, what I really like about this team and why I think that they're a team that's really tough to deal with in Academy is that, yeah, you know, they have this identity. Them playing with and around Malice, it's something that I think that the way that Copy and Darshan play around Malice, you have to be really careful as side laners, because we saw CLG punishing some of the moments. That Scion gets shoved in early, Rosethorn coordinating that invade with the solo laners to get in the face of C9. These are the plays that we've seen CLG make that get them ahead. But C9 just has better reads than them, like Darshan hovering bot. That was huge. Malice going to kill Doku on the top lane after they burned Sums at the initial play. That was huge. And those are the things in the early game that give C9 such better footing throughout. So even when they do make a few mistakes and slip up in the mid game to CLG, they still had a good enough early game to make sure that, hey, we have the scaling comp. Like, we can beat them as the game goes on. That's exactly what we saw in that one.
Even Copy recognizing when he had the priority to clear out the mid wave and make a beeline towards the top side of the map, punishing Dokla for the overextensions. Cloud9, despite CLG having really great early game plans and executing and forcing what normally other teams would be in a bit of a conundrum for them to get out of, Cloud9 just had incredible responses to get themselves back in the game, to make sure they didn't fall too far behind, and they still got to play their game the way they wanted to. But of course, we'll be taking a break. When we come back, ladies and gentlemen, we will not only return with the second half of the series, but also our post-game halftime show with Kangas on the desk.